So I'm going to take you through how I warm up before I do sprints. So I literally just start with a nice light jog. I go about halfway on the soccer pitch, which is about 50 to 55 meters. And then I'm going to come in to do what we call mobility flows. So I'm going to start with squats, just basic body weight ones, and then I'm going to open out into a sumo squat. The knees and feet turned out a little bit more. I'm going to go a little bit wider into the Cossack squat to really open out the hips a little bit more, get the groin involved with this. And then once I've done 5 on each side, I'm going to go into what we call the world's greatest. So back leg straight, front knees bent, and then I'm just rotating with that hand closest to that front leg out through my thoracic spine into the down dog next, just trying to open up the whole body pretty much from head all the way through to toe, trying to get my heels as close to the ground as I can. Next one's a pigeon push-up, so you're trying to get that front leg as horizontal as you can. Keeping in mind, everything for this warm-up is 5 reps for each activity. This next one's called the frog stretch with a rotation, so tucking my hips down and then rotating out through my spine, trying to get as much rotation through that thoracic spine as possible. It's probably the most one you'll feel on the hips with that one. Next one, just to warm up the hamstrings, bent knee leg raises into straight knee leg raises, 5 on each, and then on the other side as well. What I'm going to move into next is called a scorpion. We're just going to open up the spine a little bit more. Really nice movement here to just get a bit of movement through that spine. Typically when you work with running and sprinting, you want to warm up the thoracic spine, the hips, and then the ankles and the calf. This one here is a groiner reach, I call this. So I'm just sitting one leg out straight, sitting back into my other hip, and then really trying to contract my glute as I come forward. Okay, so now with the band, I'm going to go above my knees, line on my side into a clam position. Knee comes up towards the sky, knee to chest, and then kicking straight out. So we call this a side lying leg press with the band. I only usually go through one set because I don't need to spend a lot of time on priming the glutes as such. You'll get more benefit from doing actual running type stuff there. So as you can see, the videos are all sped up for the purpose of this instructional video. And then the last thing I'll do with the band, I'll put it around my feet, line my back, one leg straight, one knee comes towards my chest, and then I hold for about 2 to 3 seconds. I go about 5 reps on each leg, and I'm just trying to warm up the hip flexors with this one. Really important muscle group when it comes to sprinting, and it's often neglected, so just making sure I'm hitting all areas that are required in sprinting. Next thing I'm going to do is just go for a 20-meter jog, and then on the way back, sweep through the hamstring. So I just call this a hamstring sweep exercise, just going for 5 on each side. Really nice way to open up the hamstrings. Same again for a 20-meter jog, and then this time I'm going to do just a single leg hip hinge. I'm trying to work on quality here as well. I'm not just bending forward and touching the ground. I'm actually trying to control the movement, so I open up especially the top of the hamstring, which is just underneath the glute. And then I'm going to run through again, and then this next one might be a little bit hard to see, but I'm just standing up on my toes. So I call these just like calf raise walks, and then each time you'll notice my toe is, as it comes off the ground, it comes towards my knee, trying to work on that tibialis anterior, the front of the leg muscle. I usually do 2 lots of these because calf muscles, again, a muscle that's often neglected in preparation. Really important for any type of sprinting or running, and so I just want to make sure I get enough involvement there for this. And so moving on to the next thing, again I'm just getting a little bit quicker with my speed. Now I'm just doing some reverse arm swings and skips just to warm the body up a little bit more. Again, another acceleration, and then going forwards with this. I usually just do 1 to 2 lots of this. And then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to work on some positional work. So we call this just an A march position. I'm just swapping legs, trying to hold and focus on that end position. And then I'll go into a double. So I go about 4 on each side. And the biggest part about this is the stability and the balance. You can see it's quite tough to actually maintain that control. So big focus on really trying to stabilize and control that end position there. And now I'm just going to literally just do some skips or pops. And then I like to do a few of these to really open up through the ankle, the knee, and the hip and the spine all at once. Get a little bit progressively quicker with them, up and back about 15 to 20 meters through that movement. And then the last thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to walk down, and then I'm just going to go into what I call a calf pulse, just trying to work that ankle through that full range of movement. I usually go about 10 on each side. And then swap insides there. And then the next drill you're going to see is called a wickets drill. So this involves a 10 to 15 meter lead in, so where you just build up speed and then you hit max speed or close to it when you hit the cones, and then you go into the wickets. So whole idea for this is to improve technique, and specifically a high knee drive and stride length, which are two real important variables when it comes to sprinting and max speed for any type of field-based athlete, but even for sprinters in general. So it's really good because it forces the person involved to readjust their position subconsciously without having an external cue from a coach. And I usually go for 4 to 6 to 7 reps, building up speed. So you might go 80, 90% for the first few, and then you build up into 100% effort. And that way I know my body's going to be nice and primed, and I'm going to be working on good high knee drive and good stride length at a high speed before I hit my subsequent sprint in the next part of my session. So hopefully you got some insight into this, into how I prepare myself to sprint. There's heaps of different ways you can do it. This is just an example of a session that I've done. I do heaps of other different ways, but I like this because it's nice and simple, easy to apply. If you have any questions, just let me know and I'll be happy to help and talk you through some more things. Cheers, guys. Thanks.